Let her cook. Y'all stop being petty. Stop being catty, cause she like a double-edged sword. She couldn't tell left and right. And it's bothering y'all, and I see it. Let's go, Caitlin.
Are you aware of the news? Following her playoff success, Caitlin Clark is making significant moves that are creating quite a commotion. Despite their best attempts to keep her under control, the WNBA and ESPN are apparently not happy at all. In fact, they're furious as they see her embrace her true value and make choices that advance her career. They are in disarray as Clark assumes control of her future and steps into her authority.
Let me say this. I love the point that you made about Caitlin Clark in terms of the BS that she had to deal with off the court. We got to remember she's been box office. She was the main attraction, and there were so many storylines that's been associated with her. Most recently, the whole thing with her and Cheryl Swoops, even though it really wasn't her. It was Cheryl Swoops and all this. Every time you turned around, there was something that she had to deal with.
After her first season in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark packed her bags and left America for an off-season in Europe. This decision has caused a lot of annoyance at ESPN, who are reacting poorly and throwing what can only be described as temper tantrums. They are acting as though they have some control over Clark's decisions, but after their disdainful and unimpressive coverage of the WNBA's biggest star, they have no right to influence whether she stays in the league or not. Despite the tremendous pressure Clark endured during the season, she continuously rose to the top of her game, but ESPN failed to provide her with the support she needed when it counted most. Now, they are left to deal with the fallout from her departure. As WNBA viewership has plumbed, fans and analysts alike are eagerly awaiting the next chapter in Clark's incredible career, as there is currently no concrete information indicating that she will be playing overseas. Another overseas league rumor has been making the rounds on social media, but the majority of these reports are untrustworthy, and some news outlets speculate about her future. Nevertheless, we can confirm that Clark has left America to go on a 200-day vacation in Europe. Will she play in a European basketball league during this time?
Now, with that news, we've already heard from Caitlin Clark that she will not be playing overseas. She won't be playing in any organized basketball organization. She actually said that she is going to become a professional golfer during this offseason.
Yes, you heard correctly. After dominating the basketball court and making a significant impact in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark is now transferring her focus to another sport. Having already demonstrated her basketball prowess, she is prepared to take on a new challenge by pursuing golf at a professional level. Her talent and drive are unrivaled, and fans are excited to watch how she will perform in this new chapter of her athletic journey as she aims to break golf records during her undergraduate years. Caitlin Clark was also a superb soccer player. Her athletic abilities go beyond basketball, as she's shown remarkable skills on the soccer field, underscoring her versatility as a player.
Her highlights from one game where she scored 3 goals. That's right, 3 goals in one game. And I know these highlights are far from HD 4K, so I zoomed in after each goal so you could get a closer look. Caitlin does such a good job of staying on sides here, and then the second that pass goes through, she puts on the afterburners and then hammers it home low right.
What really distinguishes Caitlin Clark from the other WNBA players is her incredible versatility. She is not only a basketball star, but also a versatile athlete who can succeed in any sport she chooses. Her capacity to adjust and perform well in various arenas has made her a notable figure in sports since she moved to Europe. ESPN and the WNBA are starting to recognize that Caitlin Clark is their golden goose and the secret to increasing enthusiasm and viewership, but it's too late for them. She's already taken action, and they lost their opportunity.
Instead of owning the fact that what really was their objective and what really was their agenda is that they resented the fact that this young lady who came into the league, took it by storm, and drew in a level of attention that they weren't able to draw.
The big question now is whether Caitlin Clark should stay in the WNBA or look for better opportunities in Europe or elsewhere, as many of her teammates have done, given how poorly the WNBA and her rivals have treated her this season. Given the difficulties she has faced and the lack of support from the WNBA, it makes sense for Clark to consider her options. Moving away from the WNBA could be an alluring option for her future because European leagues and other international chances could provide her with better compensation, treatment, and circumstances.
But now during this offseason, the players are already moving around. So a couple players have already announced that they are going overseas. We have Kelsey Mitchell going to play in China, Nalissa Smith also playing in China, and Nalissa Smith is one where there was a big question mark around her if she would be returning to the Indiana Fever, but she'll be going to play in China, and Temi Fagbenle will be playing in Turkey.
Given the difficulties Caitlin Clark faced this season, such as a lack of support and the physical toll of the league, it is important to think about whether staying in the WNBA is the best option for her. Even though she has stated that she is not joining any European league and may rejoin the WNBA next season, there is still a crucial question. Should she stay in the WNBA and risk potential setbacks in her fitness reputation and overall potential? Looking into other options could help her protect and maximize her athletic career and legacy.
None of it addresses my point. My point is, she's the golden goose. You have been clamoring for attention. You've been clamoring for more cachet, fair and equitable treatment, chartered jets, weight room facilities, dollars, marketing opportunities, etc., etc., etc.
Yes, Caitlin Clark will always have devoted supporters. So wouldn't it make more sense for her to join a league with greater competition? In comparison to the WNBA, European leagues, for example, provide much better playing conditions, substantial bonuses, and much larger earnings. It appears reasonable for Caitlin to think about leaving the WNBA in search of better chances, considering that relocating to a European league might give her more financial security and a more encouraging atmosphere to advance her career.
With the WNBA season ending for many teams, there are already so many players heading overseas to play during the off-season. But with all of the drama currently surrounding the WNBA, on top of the low-paying salaries, some of these players are questioning if they'll even return.
Many players have already departed to play abroad after growing dissatisfied with the WNBA's management.
Half the WNBA right now is overseas playing in some foreign league right now because they don't make enough money during the WNBA season to take care of themselves at the level they want to for all year. They're already playing in rival leagues.
Consider Gabby Williams. When the Seattle Storm forward expressed dissatisfaction with the WNBA's low pay and dearth of promotional opportunities, WNBA officials did little to address her grievances and openly disregarded her requests. Gabby also exposed the WNBA commissioner's broken promises, underscoring the league's inability to assist its players.
During her exit interview, Storm player Gabby Williams warned the WNBA, if you want to keep international players, you need to do better. So here's what she had to say.
The W thinks that they don't have to pay us more in order for us to be here. And I think I didn't express that when I first talked about prioritization. Our commissioner talked about us being able to, make $700,000. That's not true at all. There's not one player who makes that. And we were promised, team marketing agreements and league marketing agreements, but they've fallen quite short. So it's still not enough for us international players to want to stay here. And that's a choice of the players. If I make a choice to make more money and whatever, and then the teams are mad that I don't come back, but that's how it is. So yes, it just the WNBA, if you want us to be here, you have to pay us more. It's business, it's how it works.
This situation demonstrates exactly what is wrong with the WNBA. The league shows little concern for its players, ignoring issues like low salaries, frequent fouling, and outright disrespect from other players instead of addressing these problems. After her pleas were ignored, she was forced to look for better opportunities and signed with the Turkish team Fenerbahçe SK in 2024. The WNBA still disregards its players' welfare and equitable treatment.
And specifically, a lot of these casual fans who have come into watching the WNBA because of Caitlin Clark, who plays a smooth style of basketball, who shoots from really far away, who makes great passes, who handles the ball well. People are coming for a style of play that is similar to that. They are not looking for post players to be posting up on one another, drop step, one step to the basket, cheap shots, fouls, slow style of basketball. They want to see a run and gun game, and I think that is the most exciting way to watch a women's game.
Caitlin Clark has become the main victim of abuse by WNBA officials. She was treated disrespectfully, mocked, and ridiculed by jealous veterans, and her opponents on the court took advantage of every opportunity to harass her. The infamous EY Pook incident is a prime example of the extent to which her detractors would go to thwart her success. This event is a reflection of the ongoing difficulties and animosity Clark has faced during her tenure in the league.
Caitlin Clark's trying to pass the ball in the first 2 minutes of the game, and this woman swats at the basketball and somehow decides to turn her hand down and her fingernails and jab them right into the eye of Caitlin Clark. No foul call. No refs stopping the game to go look. Is this a flagrant? None of that. Just everybody moved on.
Indeed, during the WNBA game, Joni Carrington flagrantly fouled Caitlin Clark and shamelessly celebrated it with her teammates. Nevertheless, they did nothing but watch the incident unfold in silence, allowing fair play and sportsmanship to be completely ignored and ignoring the derision of the game's integrity. Claps, the WNBA once again chose to consciously ignore the fouls and take no action whatsoever after Angel Reese committed harsh fouls against Caitlin Clark, repeating the same celebrations. This lack of response from the league further demonstrates their unwillingness to address such unsportsmanlike behavior. Additionally, where was the outrage? ESPN did not stand up for Caitlin Clark at the time. Instead of denouncing the assailants for their flagrant abuse of one of the most gifted WNBA players to emerge in years, they chose to sit silent and let the abuse continue.
There is no one like Caitlin Clark in the history of the WNBA.
Clark is done remaining in a league that treats her like a punching bag. She's had enough. Don't believe it? Just take a look at how many fouls have been called against her this season. The proof is clear. She has received more than her share of physical abuse on the court without the league providing enough security.
That said, Caitlin Clark received 17% of the WNBA's flagrant fouls this season, and 80% of those flagrant fouls were committed by the Chicago Sky against Caitlin Clark.
Yes, you heard properly, since Caitlin Clark, the Rookie of the Year, received almost 20% of all fouls during the season. Why should she continue playing in such a league? It's obvious that Clark played a major role in the Indiana Fever's impressive season. Had she not been hurt in that pivotal playoff game, there's a good chance the team would have prevailed and won.
My issue and my question is, where the fuck are her teammates at? Where y'all at? Where the rest of the Indiana Fever at? I've seen a couple girls smirk when she's got knocked down, half-assed to pick her up. Like, y'all supposed to protect the asset, protect the star. And all this is the team, she's the star. You always protect your star.
Clark had to deal with persistent fouls and a strong physical defense. Unwaveringly, she has even said that she felt like she was being pounded all season long due to the force of the hits and the absence of protection, which made her time in the league especially taxing.
She struggled with physical defense she's faced at the professional level and voiced frustration with the league's officiating, recently telling reporters, quote, "I feel like I'm getting hammered and everybody is physical with me, and opponents get away with things that other people don't get away with." That's what Caitlin Clark said. That is what she said, okay? But to me, it's a bigger issue going on.
Before Caitlin Clark joined the team, they had trouble drawing in even a few thousand supporters. But after her debut, everything changed. She started packing arenas, selling out stadiums, and completely changing the game. Her arrival gave the team a level of excitement and attention they had never had before.
But we should have been giving her the credit. We saw the ratings, we saw the merchandise sales, we saw the attendance, but y'all want to make it about something else. Oh, what about the women that laid the foundation? What about this? What about it? That ain't got nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is box office. She's doing this. And instead of giving her credit, y'all tried to make it about, oh, y'all poo-pooing the old guard.
However, did ESPN treat Caitlin Clark like the celebrity she is? They fell far short, and now they're rushing to make amends and preserve their reputation. Clark has proven she is much more than just a budding star, and is the genuine deal by outperforming Hall of Famers like Diana Taurasi on numerous occasions. She has the best of the best showing time and deserves to be at the top.
Since Caitlin Clark has arrived on the scene, record ratings, record revenue, everything that you could think, record attendance, everything. They've never had it before.
When Caitlin Clark was carrying the WNBA alone, the league looked the other way, and let her put up with hit after hit, dirty plays, and missed calls from the referees. It seemed as though they didn't mind that their biggest star was being targeted, but now that she's had enough and is looking out for herself, they all care. Unfortunately for them, it's too late. Now that she's taking charge of her own future, it's their loss.
But when you have the face of your league getting nearly 20% of all flagrant fouls called against her, that is an issue. And that's not just an issue that the players have to work out. That is from top down. That goes to the commissioner level. Like, that is the level that needs to control these kinds of things.
ESPN and the WNBA are currently in a panic, but they had a chance to make Caitlin Clark the league's star and spokesperson. Instead, they let her leave. Clark is ready to seek something more and better because she has had enough of being used. ESPN may attempt to change the story, but the truth is that they lost one of the best players, and that error cannot be corrected.